Welcome to Crafty Little Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a Dollar Tree DIY for you.
Check out this great bag that I just got at Dollar Tree yesterday. It is a B positive bag. It's a nice large size. It's made out of like a plastic material. So this DIY would even work outside because this bag is like waterproof. It's like a cool material. And I thought we could make a really cool bee sign out of it because it was nice and large. It's got that beautiful bee image on there. So just using one of these wood rounds from the Dollar Tree, I thought we could cut this out. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut the front off of the bag just to make it easier to work with. And I'll still have the back too that has the same like image on there and cut the straps off. Now, I just want to kind of center it on there where everything's going to be seen. And then I can just use a Sharpie and draw around so I'll know where to cut the bag down to size. Now, the only thing about this, I thought, oh, it's just a bag. I will just Mod Podge this down to my wood round. It's going to be super easy. I did have problems with the Mod Podge on this. I think maybe because it's made out of that plastic material, I was having a hard time getting it dry. Because even my heat gun couldn't really get to where the glue was on this. So if you're going to do this with one of these bags, you might want to use a different kind of glue, like maybe a tacky glue or any other kind of glue besides Mod Podge, because I kind of struggled with the Mod Podge part here. But trying to get this cut down to the perfect size circle, I did pretty good. And I don't know, maybe if I would have used less Mod Podge, I would have had better luck. I kind of used a heavy coat because I kind of was thinking, like fabric and stuff like that, but I'll show you here. So I put one coat down and then I went and put another coat down. Maybe I should have stopped at the first coat, maybe. And then smooth that out. Trying to get rid of any wrinkles. I did have like a few wrinkles like at the top that were kind of bothering me. And that's why I was trying to get it dry and stuff like that. But I'm going to cut out my struggle footage here, but I worked on it a while to try to get it dry. And you can kind of see like the little bubbling at the top there. I couldn't really get rid of that. And whenever I kind of pulled on it, even after letting it sit for a while, it just kind of seemed like it was still wet. And so I decided to use my heat gun and kind of melt that down. And since it's made out of plastic, it did. It kind of like shrink wrapped it to the side and got rid of most of the bubbles. So win-win. Now I'm just going to take some ivory acrylic and we're going to distress working in one direction with a chunky brush. The reason I'm doing that is just to add a little bit more character to it, make it look less like a plastic bag and more like, a hand-painted sign. So I do that, dry it, distress it just a tad more. I like that rustic coastal farmhouse vibe, and so I always distress everything. Now, I thought it was too kind of warped after that and too thin. And so I thought I was definitely going to have to double up on my wood rounds to make it a thicker sign and to get rid of this warp. I don't know if I warped it more by using the Mod Podge on there, but what I'm going to do first is just use my little Cricut leader and we're going to poke some holes back here through the bag. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make sure that the holes on both of my wood rounds line up before I glue them together. Important step. Or you could always do a hanger and just attach it to the bag. So I'm just going to feed this through both just to kind of get my spacing good. And this totally worked. It took away all of the warped in my sign. And it made it a nice thick sign too. So if you've got another wood round, I would suggest doubling up if you can. I just do a good coat of hot glue all around and just simply glue those together. Basically, any of the Dollar Tree signs, if you're going to double them up like that, it's just going to make it just so much a much nicer piece because that wood is thin. Now, I'm going to use chicken wire that I got at the Dollar Tree. can be kind of hard to find at the Dollar Tree. Whenever I see it, I try to pick some up because it's a great deal for $1.25. The reason I'm using chicken wire is because I thought it looks like a beehive with that shape of the different cells. So I'm going to cut down a piece of that chicken wire a little bit larger than our sign. I thought this was going to add a lot of character to that and make this look not like just a plain bag glued to a sign, but something really intentional with lots of fun and textures. Now my hanger is going to get in the way at this point, and so I don't really need it on there at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop that back off and we can reattach it later. I'm going to go in with that chicken wire and I'm going to use my staple gun to staple that chicken wire all around. So it's probably a good thing I doubled up on the sign because I'm going to definitely need the thickness for my staples. Otherwise it's going to go, they're going to go through way too much of that thin sign. So I just start at the top and just start stretching it and stapling all four sides down to the sign. And I don't really know how else you could attach this without stapler. I mean, you could use like a desk stapler if you don't have like one of these kind of staplers, but I love the stapler. I've had this stapler for like 20 years, I think, and it does a great job. The only thing I don't like is I usually don't use it a lot because Dollar Tree signs are so thin, it usually goes straight through them. Then using heavy duty scissors, I'm just using my KitchenAid scissors. I am going to go around and snip off all of the excess chicken wire. I don't craft with chicken wire very much, but when I do, I always love it. Oh. Now, doesn't that look like a beehive, like all the little honeycombs in there? I think that looks just like a honeycomb. I do go back, though, with more staples just to make sure it is secure and flat and none of that's going to kind of bow out. I'm not worried about the staples showing because I am going to frame this out with some rope. But I can go back in and pop in the little hanger that was kind of in the way before. The hardest part is just trying to get it in there. Now, this is the rope that we're going to use to frame it out. Doesn't really matter which one. This is kind of the larger or medium one in diameter. And I thought rope would be perfect. It's going to give you that like bee skep look. And it's going to be a perfect little frame that's going to cover up all of those staples. So just working above the hanger, I'm going to go all the way around and do one row, like just flush with the edges. And again, I like to hot glue like a quarter at a time so my hot glue doesn't dry out. And I think I'm going to go around another time as well, just to frame it out with a little bit more of a substantial frame. You could always use some thicker rope if you had it. This would be really cute with a white rope as well, but I was kind of trying to stick with like this brown color scheme to go with my yellow and black today. So just again, starting at the bottom like before, I cut a new piece so it's all flush with each other and then kind of sandwich the hanger in there all the way around. I kind of wish I would have put the hanger in from the back. I think it would hang a little bit flatter. And since you're going to be covering up that area with rope anyway, you wouldn't see those little plastic tabs that show through. Now it's time to decorate. I got these mixed floral bouquet at the Dollar Tree the other day. My Dollar Trees have been getting some really high-end florals in. I was able to get a whole bunch of lamb's ear. I was really excited. Really nice. Now the surprise on this piece is when I unwind it, it is all like melted together. Can you see that? Like I thought I could just untie it and take them all apart, but no such luck, but that's okay. I didn't really need the stems anyway. I just kind of needed the pieces. I thought this would be really great to frame this out, kind of giving you that like wreath look because it's got like these little long pieces and some yellow flowers. So I thought these would look great along the bottom. So I'm just going to glue these down right here to the bottom of this. And it's going to kind of decorate the bottom part of this, kind of make it look like a wreath. I thought about using one of those little wood bead wreaths, the round ones from the Dollar Tree for this, to decorate it a little bit more, but it was a little too small. So I decided against it and decided to go with a rope. And then the little yellow flowers are so cute. There's 3 in this little bundle. I'm just going to use 2, kind of having one go in each direction, just like the greenery. And then to cover up that area that I just glued it, I thought one of these little flowers would be really cute. It's going to kind of give you that daisy look. I know they're not daisies, but I never can find daisies at the Dollar Tree. But I wanted that white with like yellow center look. So just using a little hot glue and securing that to the bottom. And I think that looks really cute. Very spring-like. It's officially spring now. It was very hot in Florida here today. Man, in the 90s, I was very hot. I'm like, this doesn't feel like spring. This is summer. Now, check out this great bee ribbon that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's so cute. The only thing I didn't like about it, though, is it's not wired. So I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to pull this off. I wanted to do a fun bow for the top. But since it is silky and doesn't have any wire structure, I didn't know if I'd be able to pull it off. So I decided to do like a faux bow. So what I'm doing now is just cutting like 2 tails that I can attach to the sign first. Since it's going to be a faux bow, it's going to kind of be a multi-step process. I want them to not really cover up my bee, so I can actually just place these tails exactly where I want them, just attaching that with hot glue. That way, it's not going to cover up my little bee too much. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other piece. I do have a little bit of overlap there. I do have to go back and trim that off at the end. And then I'm going to cut off another piece to do a loop. And just slightly overlapping the edges, pulling it tight in the middle, I'm just going to kind of make a bow like that. I do end up doubling it up to make it a little bit more fluffier. And then I just use twine to tie that together, making sure I leave an overlap in there so it all stays together. And before you get it too tight, make sure your loops are like about equal size. That's when I decided I needed maybe another one. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut out another piece about the same size and loop it up. And I still have the twine there on my bow, so I can use that existing twine to tie the second bow on there. I just kind of X them for right now to make it a little bit easier to do this. And then I just tie them all together like that. Flip it over, tie it again, and this worked. It's a nice size bow, and the loops definitely are staying open, and you really didn't flatten out like I was worried about. I do go back and kind of like make an upper row and a bottom row on those bows, and then I'm just going to cut off that excess twine, and we can attach that to our little tails. And that's what I mean by like faux bows, because really no tying of any bows occurred here. It's simple too. So I just attach that with hot glue. I'm just going to leave the twine in the center. It's going to go with like the rope around there. And I think we have enough decoration with all the flowers on the bottom of this one. Just fluffing it up. And then I do go in here and kind of trim this piece back because you could kind of see it. And that's it for this BDIY. I think this turned out really cute. What do you guys think about this one? This was kind of a what was in my head project. It kind of evolved a little bit. It's not what I pictured initially, but I love how it turned out. And I love the use of the chicken wire. I just think it has a lot of textures, a lot going on. And I just absolutely love this piece.
And this is how it turned out. So cute, and I love the message.